Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Really excited to be going live tonight because tonight's live stream is brought to you by you, the community. I am so excited to be live. I'm going to be letting people join the stream with me to ask any YouTube questions they have. Although we will be working on a vetting process and we will be going through it. I'm very excited to be live. Just going to make sure that this is shared out. And if you're watching in the replay, you can use those YouTube chapters down in the description. It's going to be a lot of fun. I am super excited to be live. So thank you so much to Doug, by the way, Doug Houston, for giving a super chat while we are there. It's weirdly enough not showing up, but I do appreciate it. I see it in the other monitor, so I don't know why I can't seem to pull it. Doug says we are live. So yeah, thank you so much, Doug, for the super sticker, I think. So thank you. It does mean a lot. I'm really excited to be going live. Doug, if you want to join in on the stream, please let me know. I'll make sure to send this your way via Discord. So yeah, today we're going to be answering some questions. I see it's your boy X Lua says quick question, but I don't know if you're still around. Really excited to be live. So good day, says 30-day reviews. Hello, Andrew Can. Merry Christmas, sir. Merry Christmas. If you'd like to join the stream 30-day reviews, let me know. I'm really excited to be live to just, have some fun. I think I have you on Discord 30 days. So if you'd like to join, please feel free. Let me know. So I'm also excited because, it was the holidays to 30-day reviews. I actually just recently, as we wait for some people's questions to come through, was able to get a stream deck thanks to my girlfriend. The last stream I talked about gear that is good. I've actually never owned a stream deck. It is still in the box. So I guess while we wait, this will be our quick thing. Doug, I will send you. I know Doug is a stream deck master. If you're not, good night. Good to see you, Kayla Tastic. This is actually probably the stream where we will vote to do it. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to head and send this to Doug. Doug and I have not actually formally communicated, I guess, in this way. So, I mean, we've talked offline, but is this our first collab, Doug? Outside, I guess, on my channel anyway. So there's the link. Good to see you, Chocolate Twist Yoga Studios. Great to be live. It's a lot of fun, actually. As you guys can see, I actually got this shirt new as well, but I, I guess we're doing a Stream Deck unboxing. Here is the getting started guide. I'm pretty sure it is plug it into your computer. Show you how unversed I am in a Stream Deck. I had no idea that the stand was not attached. So yeah, this is just me doing an impromptu unboxing, I guess. But yeah, I've really wanted a Stream Deck for a while. Can't wait to set this up and program it. When Doug comes in, we will go ahead and do that. If anyone would like to join me live, let me know. But as we were waiting, I see Reborn Artist Life. Really excited to get some familiar faces here. Really having a lot of fun. I'm setting up, I guess, my Stream Deck, as you can see. Just got this for Christmas. So I am familiar with Elgato products. Oh no, the hard part. I never know what to set it up. And this question from Chocolate Twist Yoga Studios is this your first Stream Deck? It absolutely is. You're welcome, Buzzy Video. Thank you for joining us. I'm struggling to get the prongs out. Doug, I need your help. Oh, it also helps if I do it this way, huh? The branding though for Elgato is always on point. I'll say that for them. I never know when it comes to any new like accessory, I never know like what angle I will want the Stream Deck. There's so much here. But this is pretty much it. I don't think it's the Mark II where you can like change it. I still need to plug it in. But as we wait, I've sent Doug on Discord. If you're wondering, hey, where is that invite he promised? Check your Discord, Doug. Anyone else who is interested, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. But one thing I do want to talk about is, besides, my new Stream Deck, is how are you all enjoying YouTube? I've actually noticed some changes in my own analytics. And what I mean by that is for quite a while, I've had noticed my analytics were down. And recently, out of nowhere, I didn't upload anything recently, but my video analytics started going up a lot. So I'm really excited to see what YouTube is testing, what changes they're making. Could be an algorithm shift, or as I put this away, it could just be them figuring it out. I see 2 messages from Doug. He might be having some issues. No, they're not from Doug. Doug is like, I'll join. Also, Doug doesn't join. But hey, we're here to have some fun. So yeah, with YouTube, one thing I'm noticing is that there have been some minor issues when it comes to analytics and just some like seasonal dips. It could be because of supply chain due to COVID, but also it could just be how people are searching right now, how YouTube is dealing with shorts. I do think that, we know shorts are really heavily based on the suggested algorithms from YouTube. And I think that could also have some effects. But I've noticed some tweaks they've made where some of my older content is starting to do better. I don't think more people than ever are searching for it. It's just starting to be served. I can see it in suggested videos and browse videos. So if you guys have seen some similar issues with YouTube, I'm very curious to what you guys have seen or what you're thinking. So please let me know. Don't know if Doug is just setting up. You're in for a real treat. I just started using Stream Deck a month ago and super pleased. I've heard nothing but good things. My plan down the line is to get really set up well with it, understand it, and have it just program my life and be able to make some videos with it. Of course, thanking my girlfriend once again for it. But yeah, if you guys would like to join me on stream, please let me know. We can make this happen. If you are not already, you can join the live stream. You can get an invite if you join the Discord server. The Discord is in the description down below, in case you were wondering. Oh, I hear a badoop, and I see a Mr. Doug Houston. I don't have amazing sound effects for Doug, but I have this. The default rock.
Rock on, rock on.
Make Doug bigger. Hey, Doug, how are you?
Hey, good. Andrew, how are you?
I am good. If I can, Doug can too. Am I right?
That's right. That's right.
So, Doug, how are you? How was your holiday?
It's been good. It's the day after Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas. Boxing Day is the 26th, so it's the 27th here, so we're in the future.
You're going back to it, I see.
So yeah, exactly. Wearing my like I don't normally wear black on stream, but it just happens to be what I had on.
I definitely wasn't having internet problems and wasn't troubleshooting for like 20 minutes before my stream. You gotta love when everything is going right and it's like, all right, it's time to stream. Your internet's like, do you really want to?
So yeah, I'm here. What are we doing?
Well, I'm just taking questions from the audience, inviting people on to stream. And I was wondering, and Doug, maybe you can speak to this. I've noticed that my views were down early December, not for like any major changes, but I've noticed like my impressions were down. It wasn't that the videos were older or anything, but recently I've seen a huge intick of impressions from browse suggested. I was wondering if anyone else had seen that. What about yourself?
I haven't dived that deeply in this month. I've been struggling with the IRL stuff and just sort of meeting some other obligations. So I sort of haven't been diving into the analytics as much as I should. But yeah, I noticed that generally I've been down in just across the board on some stuff like views and the obvious things that you see, at a glance. Even though the revenue hasn't really dropped, so the revenue's up because it's that time of year, but the views are down. So got to hustle a bit more.
For sure. I see from Reborn Artist Life. I've seen that, but not lots of impressions on them. Interesting. So I guess you're seeing that the views are down, but not the impressions being there. And I know Doug, you and I kind of focus on search. One thing I've been focusing on a lot more is browse. I've been having a lot of luck with my Godox review I did recently, where like YouTube's like, this is the one we'll put in browse, and it's doing well. But I've also been A/B testing on that one heavily.
Awesome.
So Doug,
Yeah.
I wanted to know, in case anyone doesn't know, what are you working on in 2022 content-wise? What do you got planned?
Yeah, I'm at that stage where I'm just trying to figure out the next sort of direction. Not that it's a big pivot or anything, but just a particular area to focus on a little bit more. I've been looking at that new feature that YouTube's just put out. The sort of the videos have been driving views or driving traffic or growing your channel or however they term it. That's been indicating like a very an interesting cross section of different types of videos. in regards to the topic. So it's like, well, it gives me a little bit more to think about, because back, if I go back a year, and for the year or two before that, a lot of the traffic's come in on content around StreamYard, not StreamYard, Streamlabs, I should say, Streamlabs mobile, because not a lot of people are doing content on Streamlabs mobile app. And so at that time I was doing that. They were updating it a lot and doing things. So I was talking about different aspects of that particular app, particularly on iOS, and then I was touching on Android a little bit as well. But I sort of stopped. Like I was pretty heavy on that sort of content about a year ago, like the end of 2020. And then sort of since then, I haven't really touched on it that much. And the traffic on those videos are starting to drop off, and I'm picking up on some other areas of other topics. So they're sort of trying to get a gist on where's a good direction to go. So I've been touching on a lot of YouTube stuff, and some of that stuff has picked up a little bit in regards to it's gotten a response, which I sort of started probably like a year ago with talking about the shorts when shorts came out, particularly like a year ago now. It's like, because it came out September last year in India, and then it rolled out earlier this year to the US and then to everywhere else. And there was a lot of information coming out about the people were getting upset about the sampling the audio in shorts and the copyright implications. And I did a whole series of videos on that, and that they seem to perform a little better than some of my other content. So we sort of went down that route, and just generally, probably more recently, just focusing on some of the hidden features in YouTube, like things that people don't normally talk about. Like, everybody can find a video on, how to get your first 1,000 subscribers, but that's like a, that's like a goal, instant goal. If you do a video like that, you're going to get views and impressions on that. But if you want to focus on some of these little known areas of YouTube where people haven't really understood or are aware of, things like how the featured channels work on your homepage, the
For
channels
sure.
tab. It's like, who talks about channels tab? I've never heard anyone talk about channels tab. So I did a video on that, and that's my best performing video of recent times anyway, at least in the last couple of months. That one's picked up, which I was surprised by, because sometimes if I touch on YouTube stuff, if it's news related, it sort of dies off. Like talking about shorts and something in the news with shorts, that'll get a bit of attention until people aren't interested anymore. And we see that with various announcements, like maybe not the dislike stuff, because that sort of
that one's a hot topic.
that one lingers, but there's other ones where people are they lose interest after a few weeks. So I talk about those, but then I try and hit on stuff that's sort of maybe a little bit more evergreen, like the channels tab and some other hidden features, like talking about mentions, because not a lot of people talk about what mentions are.
True.
So just I have been touching on those, and they seem to spike a little bit better than some of the other ones. Letting them sit for a bit, and maybe they're ticking over a little bit more in search after a while, or browse features or suggested. So just trying to get a feel for a direction to go.
When that happened, when I was over at TubeBuddy, we had like a couple sub hits, and what we had to realize, when I ended up realizing, was like, what's the subtext of all that, right? So for you, when you talk about those lesser known features, it's because of people want to know more about it. It's just there's not much discussion happening, and you're early to the conversation. But one thing I think you could easily do is pivot to not only be early to the conversation, but talk about, you set it up with the first video on the, you talked about just channel tab. I think talk about tab collab and the power of that. I think that, did you know one of the best kept secrets? Like, there are groups on Facebook and different places where large YouTubers will agree to share massive videos out. It's called tab collabing, and it's super cool. You could even get that video. And in fact, this video might have been shared to you through tab collab. And that just goes into what people are interested in. It's a great way to grow on YouTube if the audiences are similar. If you are tab collab with someone who does like the best hip hop beats, and you're not all up in that hip hop life all the time, Doug.
That's
believe it or not. But I think that that's actually a great video, because it talks about what people feel isn't being discussed. And I love that idea because you
Mm.
even brought it up yourself. The app mentions there's so many overlap that I think that'd be a great video.
Yeah,
You should make that video. That's my hint.
Oh, yeah, the community tab has had a lot of attention the last couple of months since they've reduced the requirement to 500 subscribers. So it's an area that you can probably leverage some more related videos around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Make a
I
mental
also
note.
wanted to shout out Live Streaming Pro. Says all the streams gets confusing. Luria, if you'd like to join Doug and I, let us know. Doug, do you want to go ahead and field a question for us?
Sure. I'm trying to see the best way for me to see these questions.
It
I'm
should be
looking
on
down the
screen
side.
here in Restream, which is what we were
Okay,
using.
that's the easiest. If it's on the screen, I can read it.
Doug uses teleprompter. No, I'm just kidding.
I've actually just bought a teleprompter. I don't have a screen in it. I don't have an iPad in it yet. That's coming in a couple of days. So then that's the whole goal. So I can look at the camera and see like the main, and there I am adjusting the autofocus with my hand.
No
so I can see this. So I can see the screen and be looking at the camera at the same time, and not be looking because I've got a screen either side of my camera. So I'm like looking to this side. I'm looking to this side to see what's happening. But if I can see the main program person I'm talking to, say on a live stream in particular, and look straight down the lens, that sort of makes the experience a whole lot better.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'll be honest, Doug, that's my secret. Been using a teleprompter to save a lot of time.
I'm getting used to reading the script off a teleprompter because I quite often go without a script. But I'm trying to get the balance there where I'm getting the information and I'm, actually not looking robotic. So I've got to sort of just keep practicing.
Practice makes better.
So this is the question. Can you touch on the difference in your strategy? And it was addressed to you, Andrew. But
I know,
anyway,
but we can both answer, Doug.
The difference in your strategy between optimizing for search versus browse. Now, I haven't been giving this a lot of attention for me up until more recently. A lot of my stuff is traditionally going back a little while. I've been, search based and just basically answering a question. And because I'm answering a question, I'm not expecting my videos to perform out of the gate. I'm expecting them to perform down the track. So I have to. So I'm firstly, I'm aware that I'm going to take a hit initially. I'm not going to get like a huge amount of view velocity, although some videos can surprise you on that. So I've been mainly focusing on the search up until probably more recently, where I now, if I'm doing a video that might be more for browse or suggested, I would probably sort of think about being a little bit more attention grabbing with my thumbnail and title, more so than I would with a search based video. So that's my thinking. It's a very basic level thinking, but it's just sort of where I start for that particular thought process.
Of course. I also want to shout out Swisco Ted before I answer this one. But when it comes to the difference between like search and browse, is they're actually kind of similar in what you're trying to do. When you're focusing on search, you're researching what people are interested in. And browse, you're kind of doing that as well. Mr. Beast is a great example he's always brought up, but he really focuses on that compelling element. YouTube says a good title is both searchable and compelling. So when you're going on browse, my strategy changes mostly in thumbnail. And what I mean by that is when you think of when a viewer sees all the videos YouTube's going to suggest them, what will make them click on yours? A lot of what works, and this comes from YouTube themselves, is arrows, circles. That's why you see so many. There's only so many times people can actually circle something in a thumbnail. But if you notice those patterns, people do them because they work. So when you're trying to compel someone to click and browse, usually it's mostly on that thumbnail. So my thumbnail strategy is really what changes there. One example I gave is my Godox review started doing really well in browse, and it was in the thumbnail. I just asked a simple question: is this the best LED light for videos? People wanted to know, is it? And it clicked. So they clicked. So with that, I was trying more to be compelling with the thumbnail, but still searchable in the title. Sure enough, that one is getting view sources from both search and browse. And also a little bit of suggestion, which doesn't hurt. But you asked specifically about browse, so you know that's kind of the winning combo there. I see from Chocolate Twist, search plus compelling. Yeah, and that's what YouTube recommends doing. Now, there are those outliers, and Mr. Beast's video is nothing but compelling. I don't know how many people search for the last person to touch a Lamborghini wins it, but definitely makes me want to watch it. But you know, Doug, what do you feel about compelling when you focus on that? What do you do to try to make people compelled to click on your own videos?
Yeah, I try and think about what is intriguing. What could I say in the title that would, or even in the thumbnail, that would actually make me want to be intrigued enough to maybe click a video, whether it's in the text, so the title and maybe the text on your thumbnail, whether it's visually. Is there something visually I can put on the thumbnail to make it compelling and win the click? So I think about what would motivate me to start off with, because I don't know what will motivate every person, because you can't motivate every person. Every person, as we know, people react to things differently across YouTube's. Not everybody reacts the same, so you're not going to get the same response from every person, but you might get a response from a sizable chunk of people
For sure.
if you can get it right. So I try and think about what can I do to make it compelling, to draw some intrigue in the video, like teasing something that's in the video without giving away the punchline or the plot or the answer that someone's looking for. Because if you give away the answer before they click on the video, they don't need to click on the video. So
True.
I try and find a balance between helping people know that's what they're looking for and being, and as you say, searchable and compelling. And so looking for that intrigue is what I'm trying to do, and it's a bit hit and miss, especially with a thumbnail. It's like, how can you communicate something visually? Because because I for one don't like, and as we know that doesn't work anyway, is where people plaster the thumbnail with basically the script of the video. They put like 20 words on the script to try and explain it enough for someone to understand, whereas a picture can tell 1,000 words potentially if you can get it right. So if you can communicate something visually to make it compelling, to bring the intrigue, as well as enough information to tell them that it is what they're looking for and that they should click.
No, 100%. I
Yeah.
love the analogy you said of not using too many words. I often say YouTube thumbnails are a lot like billboards. If I'm driving and
Yeah.
I can't read that in a quick glance, I'm not reading the billboard. It's not effective in reaching out to me. But sometimes it's like people will write a 500-word essay in their thumbnail, and I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna
Yeah.
attempt. I just keep on going.
Yeah. With that billboard, if I'm driving down the freeway and there's a billboard, it's just a McDonald's logo and it says, 5 miles. So I know there's a McDonald's in 5 miles, and that's all I need to know, and I'm ready to go. But if it tries to display the McDonald's menu and says, hey, you can get a Big Mac, a quarter pounder, a cheeseburger, some fries, and a thick shake, I've already driven past it before I've been able to finish reading it all. So, and that's a bit like YouTube. People are scrolling.
Yeah.
That thumbnail disappears as they're scrolling down their app or their desktop. As soon as that thumbnail disappears, that's an impression. You've missed a click because they've kept scrolling and you haven't been able to grab their attention with simplicity and something compelling.
100%. And that's actually something I've talked to Kay Lastic about, who's in chat. Shout out to Kay Lastic. I still will make a stream where I actually do one of your recipes. I have not forgotten about it. But I think that's, you mentioned the menu, and just sometimes keeping it simple is better than making it too complex. Because, like, let's combine those two billboards, right? McDonald's the next 5 miles, and you see a beautiful Big Mac behind it, and it's like
Mm,
blurred, but it's in next 5 miles. You're like, oh, I kind of want a Big Mac while I'm at it.
yeah.
We are not sponsored by McDonald's, but if Macca's is noticing us, no, I'm just kidding. Can't speak for Doug. My Discord is not hard and
Oh,
complicated. Just read the rules. 30-day review. Fair enough. I see 30 days in here. I'll go ahead and send you. Oh, I sent you the wrong thing. But I see that we have a question from Beanie as I try to invite 30 days here. Here you go, Doug. This is great teleprompter.
How do you find a balance between not showing enough in the thumb and showing too much? What I find is I start adding stuff, and then I find I start to feel that there's too much, and then I'll start removing. So I'll go overboard, and then I'll start removing until I think that I've found a balance between not enough and too much. So that's what I tend to do, is because I'll add, there's my face and there's the text that I do want to include, maybe 2 or 3 words. Some other, I'll add like maybe an app logo because I'm talking about an app, and then I might add maybe a phone, and then maybe I start to feel, oh, it's the Brady Bunch look.
I just want to look up at you, Doug.
Yeah, I start to feel like I'm starting adding too much elements, and it gets messy. It starts to feel, the thumbnail starts to feel either unbalanced or like I'm just trying to fill gaps. As a gap there, there's a gap there. So what I do is I make sure that I've got a background that's not a plain background. You don't have to do this, but I make sure that I've got some sort of, whether it's a gradient or just like a color across a picture, so that it sort of gives you a little bit of texture, basically. And then I'll add the text, and maybe if it's going to include me, a picture of me, I'll put me on there, and then one other maybe element to emphasize it. And I have been experimenting taking myself off completely as well. So sometimes the too much is adding you. I've found that recently in a couple of thumbnails. It's like, I need to actually take me off this, because adding me to this is making it too messy to communicate what I want to communicate with the thumbnail. So yeah, I'll start adding stuff, and if it feels too much, I'll start pulling stuff back, removing stuff. And sometimes you just have to shift a few things around to give it a bit of balance, a bit of symmetry, or one thing I know people talk about, which I'm trying to focus on more, is what draws the eye. And so sometimes you can find that a lot of things draw the eye, whereas you only want one thing to draw the eye. And hopefully that's the main thing that you're trying to communicate. So I'm experimenting with that as well.
For sure. And I think that's a good thing. I love how we start with like adding too much and then removing, because sometimes like you have so many ideas, and as you remove, it's like, these don't work together, but you find something within all those ideas that really starts to mesh. So I really like that idea. And I think, Beanie, you as an artist know sometimes you just got to write it out, draw it out to get, what you're trying to have in your head more accurately on screen. I think for me, how I find a balance between not showing enough and showing too much is, a lot of times a thumbnail can be as simple as a final result, right? What I mean by that is, like, you show part of the final results, but you hide some of it. If it's a more YouTube based thumbnails, and if I'm trying to get more views or more clicks, I'll show that statistic highly and in green with large numbers, because that's what people want. Sometimes when you're doing a thumbnail, if you're cooking something, right? This is another great example for cooking channels out there. They want to see the final recipe, and making it look as appetizing as possible is a great way to get that click and to win it. So for me, it really depends on like what's the final message. So I'm doing a video right now which is how to design free thumbnails. So what I'm going to do is show me showing the process of me doing the thumbnail, but what people really want to see is that final thumbnail and how it performed. So if I can show not only how to make a thumbnail, but prove that that thumbnail I made is a high click-through rate, that's just me thinking about how you can make it not show too much, but also show just enough to get that intrigue. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
I see we have one from Wisco Ted, and I see working with 30-day reviews. He tried to call, but I sent him the restream link. I don't know the issue, but we will take this from Wisco Ted. Since I've been making Doug work, I'll ask this one. How long after a video is published do you change your thumbnail title if your CTR is underperforming? So I think that, it really depends. I see you 30-day reviews. We'll get you in just a second. But I think it really depends when it comes to a video, right? Because Doug, you and I can focus a lot on search, and sometimes if a video doesn't perform right away in search-based content, as you know, Doug, it might just hit later, right?
Yeah.
So how do you
Absolutely.
handle that balance?
Yeah, a lot of the time I will at least have maybe a couple of thumbnails ready to go. Not just one. Sometimes it'll be just because I'm in the iteration process. So I've come up with one, but then I think I might be able to do it a different way. And so I'll come up with a different one. So I might have at least at least 2 to start with. I think the most I've had is maybe 4 or 5, just to be ready to go. Some of them might be like subtle changes where I might have just changed something a little bit, or maybe just changed the same imagery, but I've changed the text to be either what I think might be more compelling or might be a little bit better than the other one. I don't know how they're going to perform because I haven't tested them, and so I'll probably look at more of the general performance of the video, more so than I probably wouldn't dive in specifically to the click through rate myself, because that's dependent on have I got enough impressions to sort of make sense of that click through rate. So I'll basically look at how it's performing, maybe just from a dashboard level, where is it in the top 5, or is it like number 10 out of the last 10? Are the views ticking over quickly, or is it a little sluggish to get started? And then if sometimes I just have the gut feeling that the thumbnail that I chose to start with is probably not the best one, so I'll just swap it out. And so I'm really going by gut on that. I'm not going by any one metric to tell me particularly. I'm definitely not looking at CTR for that, but maybe I should.
I guess for me, I tend to look at impressions, right? Like I feel when you stop earning impressions, that an impression again just being when someone is seeing your content, when that starts dipping really low, like I've seen some videos I've had like get tens of thousands of impressions, and it starts going to like here's 500 impressions this week. That to me is a kind of a critical thing that YouTube has been trying and slowly it's just not performing. So I always say that CTR or click-through rate without impressions is kind of useless. So it's super important that when you include click-through rate, you also look at those impressions. And speaking of impressions, it's time that someone makes their impressions on the stream. Let's have a first impression from Mr. 30-Day Reviews. Hello,
That's probably not going to be a great impression. I don't got the pretty backdrop, and I got PVC pipe over here and
That's right. You got the black curtain. I got a black curtain over this side.
We all have black and some.
Yeah, but you've got a black curtain, and then you've got like all this pretty stuff over here and a lava lamp, and all I got is a curtain, man.
Fair enough.
Curtains are good.
To be fair, though, I'm not a live streamer. I don't do this kind of thing. I've got a studio right in there that I would normally be sitting in front of in my videos. So this is not exactly my realm.
Well, first, thank you for joining, and thank you for always watching the streams. It's greatly appreciated.
I try.
I know that you actually have I've seen your channel many times. You've made a lot of improvements, and I appreciate you for always sharing it with me. 2, I know that you focus a lot on search. When you notice a video isn't performing, maybe it's a thumbnail, what do you try to understand? Just generally when you look at a video not doing as well as you want it to.
Okay, so I just kind of go towards the next video, to be honest with you. There's very few times that I'll be like, okay, this video is doing absolutely horrible. And then I'll just be, okay, I'm not going to do that content anymore because my viewers don't want it. Because most of my views are from the search because it's a product review, right? People aren't going to. So before this last year, I was pretty much just doing reviews, review every week, right? That's what I was doing. Well, this year, what I had done is I started trying to add in more of the educational content as well. So I don't have enough of that to really be able to gauge what, because even that's by search, how to curl your mustache, that's going to be a search term, right? So I do have a few very dedicated viewers that watch every week and comment just about every week. But for me, there's been a couple of times when I'll change up a thumbnail, but usually it's because I already have that change planned, and I was just so far behind that I needed the extra day to change it out. So I'll have one, just a generic thumbnail up for a day, and then I switch it over to what I had planned for it. So
I like what you said about, based on your channel, what the audience likes, and you keep that in mind. So if something doesn't really hit, you kind of make a note of that, because I think a lot of times what I'll see is so many times channels will be like, but I want this to work on this channel, but it just doesn't. So I think it's also important to look critically there, because sometimes what we want as a creator isn't matching what our viewers are interested in. So it's up to us to, if we have that, finding a way to make it work.
Yeah. And I'll say that when you're in a search based niche like I am, sometimes the really bad videos that you don't want to be on your top videos list is always going to be on your top videos list. I have one literally 5 minutes to tell I needed to record a video. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't put out a video this week. What am I going to do? This is like 4 years ago, something like that. And I had a really cheap, like $15 stopwatch, just a piece of junk that I picked up on a whim at Walmart, right? That video is still every week, every month in my top 3 or 4 top watched videos. It annoys the crap out of me, but I'll tell you what, it brings some dang good income.
Yeah.
So I leave it up. It's not even like really in my wheelhouse. I have one other watch review and some EDC stuff, like everyday carry for guys, like a wallet and stuff like that, just because it kind of falls into the men's lifestyle stuff, right? But those videos don't do near what this really bad video does.
But I guess that also shows us it's
Thank you,
subjective
Stanley.
sometimes. Like sometimes what we think is a bad video, our audience is like, actually, you're wrong. We love this. And then you're like, oh no.
What's really good is okay. So this video, literally, yeah, it's in my top 3, my Marathon WRM50 review from December 11th, 2015. All right. So it's a really old video. I had somebody comment on it today and say, or like a week ago, saying, this video's lighting is crap and the microphone is junk. And I'm just like, yeah, thanks for watching it. You know, check out my newer content because it's not junk. Like, check out this video. And I sent him the link to the newest watch review where I've got like lighting and it's on a little spinny thingy. And, you know, I've got a background and everything like that, you know, yeah. It's just kind of funny how people will get mad and like upset that your content isn't top notch, you know, from what, 6 years ago now.
Yeah. I every now and then someone will find like the videos I made on my personal channel where we're at now, where they're like, hey, this video is awful. It's garbage. And I'm like, oh no, but I hate the YouTube mobile app when it doesn't show you what video, because sometimes you'll publish a video and you get that content. I'm like, oh no. And then I see it's on my how to get verified video, which is one of my most successful videos, similar to your story with your watch.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, I'm so removed from that video. Please watch the newer stuff.
Yeah. So this video in the last 7 days has 327 views. My number 3 video, 391.
Wow.
And it's like a legit like how-to video. And I have no idea why it does so good, but the only reason why I'm leaving it up is because of that income off of it. Because it like, I don't even think they make that watch anymore. And I don't think that they have since I bought it. I'm pretty sure I bought like the last one of 2. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny. What I found out though is that a lot of people search for it. And even though that it's not a how to set the time on it and stuff like that, there's enough watches that are fairly close to it from that company, from Marathon, that they can use that as a kind of a guide on how to change stuff.
Yeah.
Like the time and stuff on it. So even though that wasn't my target, because it was just a, you know, bad video.
But I think what Beanie says here is, I've learned as an artist, you can't decide if your art is good. Only your audience can. Yep. You can be proud of it or want to improve it, but your audience is the one who decides if it's good. And I think that, to your point, they are looking at that to decide future purchases. I also want to quickly answer this question that we have up here. It is about the Elgato HD60. How can I record both chat audio and game audio for the PS4? I will be transparent. I don't own the Elgato HD60, so I'd recommend reaching out to Elgato support or checking their support articles. They have a lot there. But if I were to take a guess, you can run it through third-party software like OBS, which is completely free, and then record through that, which will let you easily do both. And you can set multiple audio channels, so you can split it out for editing. That would be what I would do. without knowing it, although I don't know if you want to take that extra step. So just wanted to quickly acknowledge that one. Another one I see here is also from, well, Chantel Hill says, hi, Andrew. Hi, Doug. Also, hi, Justin. I don't know where the love was from Chantel, but I will say hi to you. I don't think Chantel knew. But
That's okay. That's
it's
okay.
fine.
Most people don't know me in this realm unless a few were on, Nick's streams and stuff way back when I hardly ever make any of their streams anymore.
Well,
All
at
those
least-
streams.
Nick's is just way too early. I end up falling asleep at like 3:00 in the morning here, and I'm no Doug. I can't get an hour and a half worth of sleep and then get on a live stream for 6 hours.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
It's something you have to plan for, because Nick's, for me this time of year, Nick starts at midnight my time, so that he goes for 3 hours. So I know that's straight away a commitment from midnight to 3 a.m. on a Saturday night. So I have to plan for that, and then I have to get my body clock back into gear before I go back to work on Monday or Tuesday, where I got to be at work at 9 a.m. where the day after Nick's stream, I'm sleeping in all day because I've gone to bed at 3 or 4 a.m.
So then, what time is it that D streams?
Depends how D feels.
For you. Well, yeah, okay. Normally, though, that is true. Depends on what time he streams. That is a good point.
For the last year, D's has been at like sort of mid to late morning. So for me,
okay.
so that's sort of late-ish US time, I guess. Probably about this time of day. Actually, he'll be like probably maybe wrapping up or in the middle of the stream at this time. So yeah, he's probably floating around. He's probably lurking out there somewhere. He's probably lurking and listening now.
We just need a D Niman tracker, honestly. But I think it's interesting, especially you mentioned different stream times. Like streaming on YouTube is definitely challenging sometimes because you have such a broad audience globally, and unlike more traditional streaming platforms where they can expect like a schedule, I've found that like I've done 9 a.m. pretty consistently for like the last little bit, and that's done well. But sometimes doing a random stream can be just as powerful as a scheduled one because it's a surprise and delight thing. And I think that goes into
that I do is always a surprise.
Well, that's why you make a good first impression.
Yeah. Except for only like I'll get like 2 or 3 viewers on mine. But that's my goal for this next year is I want to do one live stream a month. I'm going to start out small.
I think that is a good
one
plan.
Live stream a month and try to add in a little bit extra content into my. I don't know if it's going to take over a Sunday video or not because I may end up doing it that way, but going to try to add in.
I would say start with the month. That's what I did when I first started streaming. That did very well. Then I made it right now we're at bi-weekly, and I'm just excited going live, practicing just a little bit of on the top, as well as I mentioned to Doug a little bit earlier, I do use a teleprompter, but I also like lives because they make you practice being able to just have a natural conversation with people too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
He said funnily as he reads the teleprompter. Could you imagine? This whole time I just have a teleprompter. I do not, but just a little bit of fun. So I do see we have some more questions. I really like this one, and it's about delivery of content. So they're wondering, is instant...
Chantel, hello, and thank you for now including me in the hello. Don't worry about it the first time.
He will never forget it. He'll give you 30 days to review your behavior, and then he'll come back to You don't understand how many 30-day review puns I have. I've been waiting for a month.
There's a lot.
I mean, my whole channel.
I've been waiting. You're like, I've been writing them down. I have like a whole book
you
over
should see
here.
My Now the problem with joking about it so much is people are going to be like, does he actually have a teleprompter? But this question I think is super interesting, and it's about delivery in your video. So it's instant delivery, in your guys' opinion, a good way to keep the viewer watching. So you immediately give them the value for why they clicked on the video. Do you think that's good?
No. That's why I don't do my review portion of my video, because I have my videos hooked up where I have a informational portion, like, you know, what the ingredients are, what color, what the smell is, what kind of tin it comes in, all that kind of stuff. And then I do my review of it. Because when I tried to do my review and then the information, at least for me, people were clicking off earlier because they were getting my input, which is what they wanted out of it. Because a lot of them have already looked at the website or Amazon and saw, you know, what hold it was supposed to be and all that kind of stuff. So they just want to know if it actually stacks up to what, you know, Amazon or the website says.
I think that's a very unique perspective, because when it comes to review, sometimes I'm the opposite, where I want to see a little bit of the product. But I think that for me, when it comes to the kind of videos, like if I'm doing a lighting video, I know people want to see like the look you can achieve. So I try to give them a hook that includes that instant delivery. But then if I'm doing something that's a little bit more long form, I keep in mind that you want to hook them to keep watching to the end. So it really depends the delivery of each individual video, because sometimes if you, to your point, 30-day reviews, put it right up front, it will cause them to be like, okay, got what I needed, bye.
Yep.
So Doug, how do you balance that?
Yeah, I find that if anything, I have to hold myself back from too much waffle at the start of a video, where I might be taking too long to say, hey, this is what the video is about, and then getting into the actual main part of the content. So for me, I'm trying to be more mindful about being a bit more succinct, and sometimes I'll just have to cut bits out in the edit because I might be taking too long to get to even just to say, hey, this is what the video is about. Although I do try and make sure that that's like the first thing. Hey, this is what the video is about. You're in the right place, so let's get into it. But I might try and frame it. Take too long to frame it. Take too long to actually let people know by trying to. Maybe I'm telling a story, but I'm telling it badly or something like that, or I'm telling a story that's too long. It needs to be short to the point where you can actually, say, hey, this is a video about this. This is the reason why you need to know this. Let's get into it. So if I can keep it that succinct, then I think that's a good thing. So people are there, they know they're in the right place, so they'll stick around a little bit longer. Because if you sort of beat around the bush before you actually let them know, yeah, you're in the right place, then they might click away saying, I don't think I'm in the right place. I'm clicking away, or he's taking too long to get to the point. I'm gonna get out of here. And so I try and make it so that I can get to the point as quickly as possible, so then I can get into the main content. And then, I've been pulled up in videos, particularly some older videos, for taking too long to get to the part that they're looking for. Whether it's, I think there was one video that did like gangbusters about, something simple like verifying your channel. And I think it was a fairly long video, because I went into things like why you need to get it verified, and it's pertinent information. But I had quite a few comments on that saying you took too long to get to the point, but it still performed well. It still grabbed a heap of views, but for some people it took too long to get to the point. So getting to the point is good. And then obviously you don't want to just drag it out for watch time or anything like that, but you just want to get to the point, explain it, and so let people get on with their day, get to the next video they want to watch, and hopefully you've answered their question along the way.
Yeah, I think that we all have different viewpoints on it, but that shows also how every video is different. And what I always tell people is look at your analytics for that. Is a strong, right to the point working for you? Because sometimes it could be killing your channel, and I've seen that happen. And them talking about it a little bit more and like the thought behind it is better for them. Sometimes the 30-day reviews point, they might leave right away. So it really depends how your audience reacts to it, because every audience is going to be different. But one thing you can do is, if you're noticing huge dips, make a change. Sometimes I've changed, like, one thing I noticed is like when I started saying, if I can, you can too, in the beginning, like it would sometimes take way too long to get to the point. So I started putting it at the end, and people were like, hey, you're only putting it at the end now. And I'm like, but at least I knew you watched to the end. So there are things you can do as a creator to find ways to like include jokes like that, to to make sure people are watching. So I'd always say, look at how your audience reacts and find ways to keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
But
I
Go ahead.
end all my videos with "until next time you have a good one," and I just kind of blanked it in a recording once, and I was like, "Dang it! Should I go back to one of my old videos and just like, because I wear the same like 5 shirts in every video." So I was like, should I just go back and like, cut it out and put it in there? I was like, no, I'll just leave it out and just have like a really quick drop off. And I had like 3 or 4 people be like, "Hey, you feeling all right?" I'm like, what? I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you didn't finish out the video right. I was like, well, thanks for staying till the end every time to even notice that, and so that was kind of nice.
But
To
those
at
are the
least,
people, when you stream, you're like, hey, by the way, I'm live streaming. I noticed you really like attention to detail. So I see this from Adam just saying, am I using a teleprompter so I can look at the guests? No, I just want to look into their eyes. They're beautiful. I'm just complimenting my guests' beautiful eyes.
I'll tell you, if I had a good enough setup, I would definitely get a teleprompter, because my new camera, I have to look. So I was using a little Sony, right? So
Mhm.
obviously littler camera, the little video screen was right above it, right? Well, now I'm using a Sony R or a Canon R, and the screen is like way over here now compared to the lens.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, if I could, like, if I had a permanent setup in there, I would absolutely use a teleprompter, because you can definitely see when I'm checking my framing.
Well, here, let me see how well I can do this, and please don't hijack the stream. But you know what? I trust these two, so if they do anything I didn't approve, I
All
apologize.
right, all right, Doug. What are we doing? How
All
are
right.
we going to hijack?
I think we need to dive into the chat, see what's going on.
I think that's a good idea.
Adam says he has the same as Andrew. He's got a Panasonic G7. Yeah. I'm using a at the moment I'm using Canon M50 for this. I also have a Panasonic Lumix FZ1000, which is a fixed lens camera, so I can't change the lens on that. That's my older camera, but I use it as a second camera for live streaming sometimes. I don't have it turned on for this.
So the question,
the thing we're talking, yep.
With that M50, how are you going about not having all of the screen, information show up? Because I was in a stream the other day, and they said that you couldn't do that with the M50, and I'm like, well, I know like 3 people that are streaming with the M50.
A couple of ways to go about it is, I think if you're using like a cam link, so coming out HDMI, you can sacrifice autofocus and run on manual, and then you can turn off everything else, because I think the only thing that remains is like the focus box. So if you turn that off, then the focus box isn't there. But what way I do it is I'm just using USB. I'm just using the USB app, which is clean. So it's like a webcam, using the webcam utility.
Yeah.
And because we're using Restream here, I have the same with StreamYard. I have to go through OBS to get this camera, because this camera doesn't show up as a webcam on my particular Mac, which is a Mac Mini, M1 Mac Mini. So for some reason, I used to be able to do it directly, but since I've upgraded, I have to use OBS as a virtual camera for that. But yeah, that being the case, though, I can attach additional cameras and switch with OBS, and I could technically go multiple angles in something like Restream or StreamYard.
Yeah. I just wanted to show this really quick, and thank you guys for not doing anything bad. Checks are in the mail. Just kidding. But I wanted to show off. You're going to be waiting for just as long as I will from YouTube to give me one. But this is actually like my teleprompter setup. So I actually have a lens teleprompter, and this is
fancy.
It's called a Desi View, and I like it better than like the Parrot is another common one. The reason I like it so much is because it has different mounts that you use with your lens. You guys can kind of see it here. And you can use your smartphone. So I have an older smartphone I put here, and you just attach it to your lens. And even if I have my LCD screen out, which I do now, you can barely notice it because it blocks it. So it forces me just to work on my performance. So for me, I used to have like an iPad teleprompter, but I had no iPad at that time. And it was just so big and hassleful that I wouldn't use this camera as much. But then I started, I put in a quick release plate. I kept my zoom on top of it. And this is actually what is pretty much used for all the videos I do. So for me, it was about making my setup so easy that I want to record instead of being like, oh, I gotta get that darn teleprompter out, and I can't stand doing it. So I think that's also something that's important on any of the videos you do, is making it easy for yourself to do a video. Because if it feels like a chore to do it, you're less likely to want to.
Yeah. I'll make sure that I've already got my M50 in position, ready to go. It's now inside the teleprompter, and I can just switch it on, tell Alexa to turn my lights on, and basically fire up the app on the computer and just hit record on the utility app, and then record my videos. And then because it's already connected to my computer, I just transfer the footage and start editing. You want to make it as quick as possible.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, Beanie has a question up there for you, and I kind of want to put in my 2 cents after you do.
Sure. So it says, I may have asked this before, but if you have an old video that performs well, would updating the description to be better optimized and adding chapters impact ranking? It won't necessarily impact ranking, because ranking is based on a multitude of factors. And in terms of like how YouTube will recommend it, it's probably going to be minimum, because if they actually click through enough to care about the chapters and taking that extra step, that's not as many people as you think. Even with chapters coming out, YouTube says only about 15% make their way to the description. So it's still not as much as people would want to think. I think what's more important is like, I've added chapters to my most popular video, and I've seen it do even better because of them. I would say that most of the times adding chapters helps more than hurts. Trust me, I was super worried about this when they first came out. I'm like, oh no. But most of the time, people go back to moments instead of skip. But if you're seeing more people skip in your videos, that's something for you to keep in mind if they're even worth it, if you don't like that happening. So for me, I've had good performance, but I also know that it might be different for your audience. Justin, you said you have an opinion. I'm curious what you think.
Yeah, so I don't know about the whole ranking stuff, but I will tell you that I have changed a couple of descriptions on videos that were already doing fairly well, and I just wanted to tweak them because they were much older videos, and they dropped off my top list, or the views on those just started tanking as soon as I changed the description on them. I don't know why, because the description was actually better and more descriptive of what the video was, but it might have changed. But that was last year that I did that, so I would hope that it would get better, but just my experience with it anyway. So like, I haven't changed that watch video just because if I do, it may actually drop off and then I won't get the income from it.
I also say when it comes to descriptions, I try not to change too much. I always say it's like a finished cake. Like, you can always add to it, but you really can't take away from it. So when it comes to a description, I try, like, adding chapters should be fine, but when you do a rehaul like that, it can cause YouTube to relook at it and be like, oh, let's reevaluate it. And that could be what happened for you, Justin. Not saying that was intentional, but
I'm thinking that's a good
YouTube
chance,
is.
because like you said, I was actually I deleted the entire thing, and instead of just adding to it, because I was like, oh well, there's like spelling mistakes here and there and everywhere, and I was like, I'm just gonna redo this one, make it simpler, make it so that it makes a little more sense and actually tells a little bit better what the video is. And then of course, then because it was an older video, I ended up having to add in all of the disclaimer stuff for Amazon and whatnot too. So that may have that probably caused both of those videos to get reevaluated.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that's YouTube's like, we don't do it that harshly, but I'm like, but you do it, and that's the thing. So I see that Beanie puts that he remembers Nick saying something similar, and it's not going to be as drastic as people think, but it can be really drastic. It's like, the way I describe it is, however drastic of a change you make personally is usually how much I would say be careful on YouTube's side, because it can be really drastic or it can be really simple. So just always be prepared for that reality. And some people can't handle one of their best videos not doing so well. So just kind of think about it. I also see from Adam here. He asked what dummy battery I recommend. I will put an affiliate link. The one I use, the one I'm actually using right now, it's lasted me for 4 years and going strong. So I think I can say it's gone pretty good for me.
Beanie, I know that you have a lot of detail in your videos, and so therefore it is really long videos. I would suggest making videos just about the details. So how do you detail scales? How do you detail the claws, that kind of thing. And then you're going to end up having a much shorter video, which guess what is going to make it a lot shorter and a lot quicker to edit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can point people back to those videos in videos when you are
Correct.
doing a full drawing, right? And then you don't have to explain on every single video what you're doing. You still can to a point, but you won't have to go into as much detail as you would otherwise.
Yeah. I think you can leverage those sorts of videos into a specific sort of Q&A or FAQ playlist as well, and point people to the entire playlist, because if they're interested in maybe the specifics on drawing the scales, they'll probably invariably down the road want to ask about the claws or the teeth or whatever, the part of the dinosaur they're drawing. So having a playlist you can refer people to, and then that's going to drive more traffic generally, because it's more of a how-to searchable content as well.
For sure.
Beanie, make more videos. Don't worry about the past ones.
And Beanie, I want to say, me, Nick, and D told you all this in 2019 too. So it's almost been 3 years, bud.
2018, 2017.
I've only known Beanie since 2017, so any longer than that, I was in his. I was
2017,
just an imagination to read. But Beanie, you have such good content. I just want you to keep creating to that point.
Yep. I want to see more drawing videos and speed drawing videos and all that, dude. Like, you could do a whole video, just get some music, put a music behind it, and just draw.
Yeah, you could do a top drawings of the year
too. People learn
too.
from that too. So
I think Beanies should do, like I said, a top drawing of the year to make more content. Like, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like, just you can that way, if people missed it, like you just show like the speed drawing or maybe even like the final result, and you're like, hey, you want to watch any of these being made? Check this out. I think it'd be really good. I also know this feeling, Chantel, where she says, I need to make more videos. Got research and scripted. I just need to sit down. I have 20 videos right now, research scripted, and I just need to get them. But because of this teleprompter, made it a lot easier. Because I would do the method of where I try to come on the top of my head and I'll forget something and then I have to keep filming, and it just becomes way too hassle filled.
So how do you change go to the next subject or whatever on the teleprompter if you're using something like a cell phone?
So for me, I have it to where I set it up and I film in chunks. So all my A-roll, which is just me talking to camera, is separate from when I'm doing B-roll. So if I have a moment where I need the product and I'm speaking directly to camera, like I did with my Godox review, I would make sure that I explained in the video that I'm using a different setup to show this off. And then from there, people would understand. So I would try to include that in the scripting. When you're doing a teleprompter, it really kind of comes down to scripting properly, because if you don't, one of the things I have a benefit of is because I'm very film focused in my personal life, and like I try to be very cinematic, as I think of how would I film this if I were doing like traditional filmmaking stuff, and then I write my scripts in that way. So like all my B-roll shots, like you mentioned, you have your spinny thing. I would do all the B-roll for that, and if I want to speak to that, I would make sure I have the talking head first, all the B-roll I need of that, and then later I'd make that my C-roll, which is when you go past A and B, and I would include the two together so that I could show off it spinning, but still talk to the head.
Gotcha. See, how I usually do it is I record everything, I edit it, and then I do my B-roll. That way I know where, because then if I have a lot of places where like cuts are really super close, where like, it'll just look robotic and not right, then I can be like, okay, well, I can, get a little bit of extra B-roll just to plop over that particular thing. And then I know that it's taken care of and nobody will ever notice it. There's like 15 cuts for, in between each single word because I do this a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. I find that for like that moment, like you're talking about, where that you've realized like B-roll can really fit here. One thing I'll try to do is like I'll always overshoot, because I find that it's better to have too much than too little when it comes to content sometimes. And like I've never gone, I filmed too much, but I've gone, I should have filmed more, a lot more than I've said I should have filmed too much.
And
Thank
see,
you,
if
Adam.
you did your B-roll after, you wouldn't need to worry about that because then you would know exactly what you need B-roll for.
But I also do a shot list of my B-roll. And sometimes I think of a cool idea of a shot and I'm like, why didn't I think of this when I was doing it earlier?
Yeah, my notes are a mess. And so like I'll write down, I'll put B-roll or BR by some of the stuff that I know is going to need B-roll, so that while I'm already in the room and recording and have lights and everything set up, I can do that. I actually built myself a studio set just for B-roll this year so that I could do more B-roll. It hasn't worked. Like, it's good. It's a great setup. Not gonna lie, it's great. But like, I've only used it for like 2 videos so far. But
Do you only have one camera?
yeah,
That stopped me from B-roll as well. Like I was so dedicated to one camera, so I actually invested in, like, I had the camera I'm shooting in. I have a dedicated B-roll camera. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I've actually found myself using my phone more for B-roll, and no one has noticed. It's a little infuriating because you spent all this money on a nice camera. But hey, if it gets the job done, the best camera is the one you have on you.
Yeah, and the thing is that with the new cameras on the phones, for B-roll stuff, especially stuff that doesn't have a lot of detail in it and stuff, you're not gonna ever notice. I mean, it's 1080p, and as long as you're keeping your video in 1080p, you're not going to notice any difference in it because there's not going to be a drop of quality there.
For sure. It's Doug's like multicam talking about multiple cameras. Doug's like, actually, I have the second camera here.
Fancy.
I just turned it on and off chance it would work, because like my last stream where I went to turn it on, it just wasn't showing up in OBS, and I just plugged it in, turned it on, and it's working. So thank you.
But thank you both for joining me thus far. I wanted to let anyone know, if you're interested in joining me, despite what 30-day reviews, aka Justin, thinks, my Discord is not that complicated. Just read the rules, Justin.
I did. Okay. So this is where it's complicated. So it says introduce yourself, right?
Yeah.
So I try to go and figure out where I'm supposed to introduce myself, and I can't figure out where to introduce myself at.
In the introduce yourself section.
I didn't see an introduce myself section.
That's the section that says to do it.
No, it's not.
It should be, and if not, that's actually a good call, and I'll yell at my friend Ike, who is helping me run the server. Wow. D's like, I was going to come in, but Justin told me to stay in chat and behave myself. D, you are still welcome. Don't let Justin
I never said that, D, ever.
Hello, D.
Are you cyberbullying
we knew
people
that D
again,
was
Justin?
somewhere around here. Yeah, I do not see. It won't let me. Like, there's no. Okay, so the introduce yourself thing, there isn't a place to like type.
Do you see new member hub? Oh, you have to. So Discord does the thing where you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can type. That's not a us thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you had that set, because all the other ones that I do don't have any security.
You gotta love new server restrictions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you should say that then.
I thought we did, but I'll make sure to make it more clear. D says, happy holidays, everyone. D, if you do feel that,
D, get in here.
D says a direct quote, keep your donkey in the chat. Because, that's how 30-day review speaks. He only speaks in idioms for curse words, never.
Never. I wouldn't ever say beep and beep.
He's like, actually, no, you just like, it's okay. I've told YouTube of this issue, but all of my live streams when I start them are demonetized, or not demonetized, but they have monetization off. No matter how many times I put monetization on, they're like, yeah, we don't know what's happening. I'm like, if you don't know what's happening, how am I going to know?
That's funny.
Uh,
It really
But-
stinks because there was definitely like 2 ads before I joined.
really?
There was a
Yeah,
short one, and then
YouTube.
there was the longer skippable one.
Yeah. I did have an ad before the stream started as well.
Thanks, YouTube. I'm just loving finding out. Like I just turned it on now.
You are
so that's-
monetized, right?
Yeah, I am. But every time I do a stream, it starts it with monetization off. I've checked my upload defaults. I've checked all of that, but they're like, no, manual setting. I've reached out to them and they've tried. It's just always difficult.
Yeah. You want to know what annoys me is that on my second channel, I use my phone for editing and everything.
Mhm.
And of course, on there, I have, auto upload or auto, description, video description stuff. It never transfers it over. So I always had to get on the computer and copy and paste from one of my all other posts and then put it into the video. It's really annoying. It's like, guys, just make it so that it just automatically adds it if that's what I'm doing on that channel. Come on.
Fair.
It shouldn't be that complicated. D said that it should be, but it hasn't ever worked for me anyway. Because I asked D one day, he goes, "It should." I don't know. It's like, well,
Yeah, I find I love YouTube because like if you're not dealing with their public Twitter, sometimes they're just like, we don't know. And I'm like, that's not a great answer. But I see a question here from Adam who is asking, hi Andrew, sorry for asking another question. No worries. Do I use my 14 to 42 lens for live streaming? You absolutely can. One thing I would say is I would always try to make the f-stop, which is like that 3-point number, depending because you're using the 14 to 42. It can go like 3.5 to all the way to 22. You want to have that lower number to let more light in so it looks a better image. I'm using personally a 12 to 35 millimeter lens for this live stream. For most of the videos I shoot, I'm actually using a 16 millimeter lens because I just like the shallow depth of field it gives me. So that's why I use that. But you absolutely can use that lens for live streaming. And I used it for a long time on my personal channel here. And this is also a great question from Beanie, which is asking, what kind of look do you want? A wide angle lens lets you see more of your set, more close up. If you're trying to imitate what the human eye sees, a 50 millimeter lens, also known as a Nifty 50, is a great option for that too.
but
And
you
you
gotta
can
have that lens really close to you if you don't want to show a lot.
True.
Because I tried that on my new Canon, and it is so wide, like even at like arm's distance, it just was not going to work whatsoever. So I ended up getting the was it the 25 to 105 or something like that, and that works pretty good as long as you get the right one that doesn't make a sound like a train whenever it autofocuses.
Yeah, I usually
I made that mistake.
for my cameras, I usually try to this is manual focus, and it's just because I know that I can control, like I'm not going to go too far until I go and get my teleprompter camera and ruin the shot. But usually I don't do that. I see Chantel says that she used the kit lens that came with her Sony, but have set it to around 18 millimeters so you can control it. That makes sense. I agree with Beanie. I think the 14 to 42 would be kind of perfect for what you're trying to do. And it still gives you wide enough for 14. Like 14 millimeters is still pretty wide. Like 10 millimeters and anything below that, you start going to fisheye lens territory. And I've never tried that for a live stream. Doug, maybe you have, but I don't know how the fisheye would look for a live.
No.
Beanie, just remember you can always crop and edit. So if you have a too big of a lens and you're getting too much background, just remember to just take all of your clips, crop them all at the same time. That way you don't have to crop each individual one, and then they'll all be the same framing. That's what I do, and I have stuff that's a little bit out of.
Yeah. See, what I do is I just live in the set, and I don't have anything but the set, and then nothing can be. No, I don't just live in my set. Now people are going to think
He's
I
sitting
always
on
use-
his bed right now.
Honestly, I could be, and you'll never know. But you know what I really do is I have a standing desk so I can get different shots, but you'll also lose less and less of me. And as I keep going, bye guys.
Is that a bad thing if we don't have to see you though? Just wondering.
No, it's okay.
That is pretty cool. See, I live in an attic, so every roof is like, or all my ceilings are like angled, you know. So I can't have a standing desk because it would not work.
I'm surprised my lighting is keeping as well. I did not set this up to be standing, but I guess I'm standing now. But
We'll see how long you can stand for.
Oh gosh. D, I need you in here to cyberbully him back. Andrew is really a short in person. True facts. You know, I've been told by a few different people at conventions, you're taller than I thought you would be. And Nick hears the difference where he's like, I thought you'd be shorter. And I'm like, how do we portray different, like, cutting the caboose. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Keep doing what you do. Thank you for all the fantastic content and all the help and support you give creators. Thank you. If you have not, you should check out a certain product by Cutting the Caboose. I will give more in this year that is upcoming. If you want, you can go ahead and put it in chat and I will make sure it gets approved. Thank you so much. He is taller than me, says Chantel. Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is an interesting question. What is everyone's height?
See, I think the reason why everybody thinks that you're shorter than you may be is because your camera is always
No, they think
at
I'm
like
taller.
that angle. Oh, they think you're taller.
Yeah, and I'm like, they're like, I thought you'd be like 6 foot. I'm like,
I never thought you were 6 foot.
thank you. You think I'm an
because
appropriate
of your
height.
angle. Like I assume
Yeah.
Doug over here is like 7 foot.
No, Doug is
His
8'9",
angle is always
but like
from below.
I'm not as tall as Nick and D, but I'm there. I'm over 6. I'm over 6
you know
feet.
you
but
are as tall
not-
as
not by
Dan.
much. Dan, yeah,
You're about
absolutely.
as tall as Dan Nimmin. I see that that's why we have actual measurements, says Chantel. Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. Adam says that he's thinking about getting a Sennheiser 600, but I am a starving university student. I have been there. That's actually why I try to focus on more affordable filmmaking, because like a lot of times when I was in film school, my professor's like, look, just get this $4,000 light and you're fine. And I'm like, where am I getting this?
Yeah, I started off with desk lamps for lighting, so not anymore. Although
I started off with the
that light
clamp
there is a
lights
desk lamp.
from the shop. The shop clamp lights that look like the little egg hatcher lights. That's what I started out with for way back in the day, and then I moved up to the great big umbrella type things, massive things, and now last year I went down to 160 LED panels. Take up much less room in the studio than anything.
Yeah, I like LED panels. One thing I have a problem with is I use soft boxes and I love them. They're useful, but man, they take space. But
yeah, they take a lot of space. And the thing is with those, if you don't have like the cheaper ones, they don't dim. So your only option for that is to get it as far away, to figure out exactly right where you're at. And if you're only, by yourself, you can't be like, okay, I'm going to sit here, pretend like I'm doing a thing, and then I'm going to have you move it. No. So you have to get up, move it back a little bit further, go sit down, see how it is. It gets to be a pain. That's why I decided I'm just going to get the LED panels like I ended up getting. And I'm so glad that I did. Although now I'm looking at video lighting because somebody posted a video light video the other day.
Doug, why would you do that? But there's someone who has some strong words for you, Justin, and he's come in ready You might know him. You might love him. It's not Nick Nimmin.
You can't hold me down.
Nick has
keep me
no
outta here.
words for me. He ignores me. So
Justin said, D, you can't come in tonight. So I'm not D. How's everybody doing? Happy holidays,
I
everybody.
didn't do that.
Happy holidays, D. Thank you for
Happy
joining us.
holidays.
How's everybody doing?
You must still be in Mexico, huh?
Si, senor. It's been a long 2 years, man. It's been a long 2 years.
You know, the sad thing is I've started tracking the pandemic by how long you've been in Mexico.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NORAD tracker for Santa Claus. It's like it's tracking me based on the pandemic. Like, oh, he's moving. It must be almost over. Yeah.
You'll get out someday. It's
The-
like Frosty.
the
The thing
You'll
is,
come back
that
one
then
day.
he wants to move back. So there's no real point in him ever leaving besides to go and get his plaque.
Why? That's it. I'm flying back to get my plaque. No, I have 20 years of my life sitting in Thailand.
You've done fine without it for the last 2 years.
Yeah, this is true. It's been inconvenient, but yeah, this is true.
An inconvenient truth.
It's inconvenient truth. Yeah, it's funny how well you can do with like carry-on luggage.
Yeah.
Like like you think, well, I can't do without this stuff, and then you get stuck without that stuff. And I've had to order some things. Like I ended up purchasing like the A10 Mini and a Rodecaster, just because I make content for StreamYard and some other people. So I did purchase some things, but overall, just carry on luggage. I've got like 2 pairs of underwear. One of them has holes in it now. So
This
Yeah.
is now a charity stream for just
It is.
pennies a day.
GoFundMe.
You too can buy not Nick Nimmin underwear.
Yeah, with holes in it. Yeah, it's a feature.
It's not a bug, it's a feature. But D, how besides being stranded, how has your holiday been?
We've been chilling. We stayed in. We really didn't do the Christmas thing this year because we know that we are going to have to go back, and it's just more stuff to carry. So we just said, you know what? Let's just order a ton of food on Uber Eats and just watch movies all day. That's what we did.
Well, Adam says he has a spare pair of boxers and he'll send them fresh from Canada.
Yeah, I'm I'm taking handouts. You know, forget the Salvation Army. What do they do anyway? Right? They're not helping nobody, right?
Doug Houston says, thanks, Doug. More underwear for D.
No, D, make sure that he gets that to you.
Oh yeah, I'll do an
Don't-
unboxing, all the proper stuff. You know.
Get
I
it from
just-
Amazon. Do an unboxing. You can,
Do an
you can make some
unboxing
money off that. Yeah.
I'll do an unboxing and do like an underwear haul, video.
I would love
hard
if your whole
pivot on the channel. Yeah.
The whole channel is you just using underwear incorrectly and you're just complaining like you can't. You're like, this is a great lens cloth, but I really need some new underwear.
20
No,
unbelievable
D,
things you can do with underwear. First video.
I'd actually
I bet you that video would do really, really well for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
why underwear is the best camera accessory you didn't know you needed. I'd watch.
Right.
I'd be like, what? D says underwear is it? Master your mobile from the. No. This has gone straight to the gutter. I see why we need a Oscar like playoff sound.
2
So
days, Beanie. You can get at least 4 out of that. One
Beanie's
side
bro-
airs out for a day, don't you know?
I love how I'm like, I'll answer any YouTube questions, and we have gone to underwear.
You sent me the link.
I did.
Justin
Yeah,
tried to keep me
underwear
out for a
review.
reason. Justin knew better. Justin's the best of us, and he was like, "Look, we can't bring D in here on Christmas. Yeah, we just can't do that. It's gonna go straight to underwear."
Grow on YouTube with these undies. Doug, I think I found your next collab with D.
There we go.
Actually, that would be an amazing Me Undies tie-in if you ever. I've had one of the I guess this goes into brand deals. I once had a brand reach out to me. They're like, "We know what your audience is gonna love. We've seen your channel. We understand your audience all around YouTube and camera gear wants lingerie." They had a pitch on why lingerie is gonna work for my audience, and I looked at them. I'm like, no. Now, D, if you need a sponsor, just
Oh,
happens.
I have plenty of those emails from makeup, lingerie. What are those fryers called? The deep fryers? The
Oh,
things
air
that are-
fryers.
air fryers. Yeah, I've got all the stuff. You know, hey, YouTuber, or
Mhm.
hi sir. We think our product would be the perfect fit for your channel. Have you seen our new air fryer? I'm like, well, yeah. You haven't obviously seen my YouTube channel because
I've been on
it's not a
YouTube
good
now
fit.
for just about 7 years, and I really haven't gotten anything too horrible. Only about like the last 3 years, they were sending just total stupid stuff like that. But since I've started uploading to Amazon, my ratio of okay, this product could actually fit has gone way up because they're getting my information off of
Sure.
Amazon instead of just random searches on YouTube
Sure.
and stuff. So I'm kind of happy about that. But of
I
course, they always just want me to review it for free or take the product and sell their product for them. And I'm like, no.
I always thought it would be funny, and one of these days, if I have spare time, I might do it just for craps and giggles. I always thought it would be funny I mean, I get bombarded. Like once you get on the China manufacturer radar, I think I think they share your name. I
Yep.
get bombarded, and I'm like, you know what? Like all the ones that come in where they're just very not specific. You're like, hi, sir, we love your YouTube channel. Create a second channel that's all about just receiving junk and then just see how you can destroy it. So like, yeah, send it. Like, yeah, I'll be happy to review it and send it, and then just find the craziest ways to destroy, catch it on fire, blow torch it, and whatever, and just completely destroy the product. Like
You
complete
could do
YouTube
a
channel just for destroying.
hydraulic press channel just on all that junk.
Right.
Or
right.
maybe
And then
for you. Go ahead.
And then send them the video. Hey,
Yeah.
how do you like it? I thought my review would perfectly match your product. Just completely flip it on them.
You'd like your whole channel is like, yeah, this is my will it cook in an air fryer channel. And believe it or not, an air fryer won't cook an air fryer. Who knew?
We're gonna need a bigger air fryer.
They send you an industrial air
Fit
fryer.
underwear in it. Just saying.
Oh, actually, we have a question here for you, D. I want to let you field this one. It comes from Wisco Ted. What is the best brand of underwear to grow on YouTube?
I'm all about sports underwear.
Hmm.
Sports underwear. I like my underwear a little bit long so it covers my thighs. I like to get like Adidas underwear. It's sports underwear. I'm all about sports. You're never going to catch me rocking like 100% cotton Hanes or any of that stuff. That's for peasants. I'm not doing that.
Andrew's over here laughing.
a
Little
strong
does he realize that I actually have an underwear review video on my channel that I did like middle of this year or something like that. No, beginning of this year, I think it was. I had nothing else to do a review on that week. And I was like, I really don't feel like doing research to do an educational video. Hey, I've had these underwear for like over a month now, so why not?
I actually do have a question on that. What do you guys do when you're hitting a slump of videos? Like you're kind of running dry, you don't like anything you have in the script. What is your like go-to process on creating content? I'm curious. Anyone can
Look
take
around and see what I have that'll fit my niche that I haven't reviewed yet.
Yeah, I've been through that a lot. Anytime I hit a slump where it's like first of all, I don't really run out of. What happened? Did I lose you guys or did I?
I just made you. Had like you're having like a real like and it just seemed like a good moment.
Okay. Everything kind of stuttered before you did that. I thought the signal just went out. I was like, oh, great. Yeah. So I usually don't run out of ideas because people are always trying to learn how to do something either on their phone, be it an Android, an iPhone, tablet, or grow on YouTube or whatever it is. So I don't really run out of ideas, but I get burned out of talking about things because I've made all the videos, right? I've made the videos. And whenever I get completely in a slump, I'll either make a video that I want to make. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to make this one for me. Or I just dig into my analytics and I try to find that, maybe a search term that people have found me by that I haven't thought of yet. Or I go back and I remake an old video, like something that I made, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that making something just for yourself and just seeing how it goes a lot of times can really like reinvigorate like just your passion for it. Like for me, the recent lighting review I did, I've been wanting to talk about lighting for a while. No one asked me for it, but it did really well. And because a couple of other lighting brands saw it, they're like, we want you to do that too. So I think that sometimes you never know who's watching, and you never know like how your audience will react until you try it. And 30-day reviews, you're like, whatever I have, I'll just review it. Your most popular reviews came from that method. So maybe there's some truth to that.
Well, in regards to Justin and like review channels, specifically tech review channels, actually, I see a lot of tech channels trying to get started, and they're like, well, I don't have these connections, and I can't afford to pay for everything. And doing what Justin did is the right thing. Like, look around your house. Like, what do you have? Do reviews on the things you have. If you don't have the connections yet to get free product, or you can't afford to purchase product yourself, look around. What do you have?
It
Yeah,
so,
what do you have?
or electronic channels have it so easy with that, because our lives revolve around it now.
Yeah.
I mean, even an old product, like I said, that watch video, that watch was out for like 10 years or something before I ever got a hold of it. And yet twice a year, I don't know what websites it's like pinging off of or whatever, but twice a year, every single year, like in May and August, that video spikes every single year. I don't know why, it just does. But every year ever since.
But with review channels, what I've seen, and anyone else can speak to, I've seen that sometimes there's like a seasonality to some reviews. Like even on my own channel, like for some reason, like my Joby GorillaPod review, every like June, right when people I guess get out of school, that's how I interpret it. Like the search for that goes up through the roof, because I think a lot of students want to get into YouTube, they want to start vlogging. So that's how I've always kind of looked at it myself. But you can start making interesting conclusions by studying your analytics that way.
Speaking of Joby GorillaPod, so I was making a review of, I got a GorillaPod and I took it to Iceland. All right, I took it to Iceland, and I was like, I'm going to do like a really cool, like scenic, epic kind of thing. Maybe there's something that they might want to share out, and something looks really cool, right? So we're in Iceland, and we're in this beautiful area, and we've got this camper van because we're traveling around the country. We're sleeping in this van, and the bottom of the Joby grip has the magnets at the bottom, so you could stick it to the side of the van. So I grabbed my phone and I put it on the connector, and I've got my camera. I'm filming it with the camera so I can get nice, depth of field and everything. So I connect the grip to the side of the van to the door, and I swing the door open, and I got my phone connected to it, and I step away and I hit record, and the leg broke off and my phone dropped down on. And I was like, I'm not making a review of this product, because if it is, it's just going to be like 5 seconds. It's like, oh, here's my review. Phone drops, it breaks, and I'm like, don't buy it. That's my review. I might turn that into a short, actually, because it's pretty funny.
Thankfully, I haven't had that experience, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're great when you're holding them in your hand, but I stuck it to something, and the leg literally just popped right off. Phone hit the ground, like chipped my screen and everything. So,
I haven't tried the magnetic ones, but this now gives me a collab review.
Yeah, don't.
My good friend Dean Niman once said, "Don't."
Multiple suction cups.
Yeah.
The vehicles. That's the only way I'd ever go, whether it's my phone or my camera, because one magnet on the cars nowadays that are tinfoil, it doesn't hold very well.
Yeah. Doug, I mean, before we move on, how do you come up with content?
Yeah, sometimes I'm waiting to be inspired. Even though I might have a list I could go to, if I'm not feeling it for those topics or those ideas, I'm probably not going to dive in and do them unless I'm feeling some excitement for it or some inspiration. And sometimes if I'm feeling flat, I'll just take a little bit of time off and not do anything, and then one day. And it's probably not too long down the track, I get inspired by something. The other thing that I will do is every time I have something new come in from, say, Amazon or some piece of equipment from my studio, like the teleprompter, I'll do an unboxing just to keep the juices flowing, and I'll post that to Amazon, not to YouTube, because obviously my channel's not about unboxings or tech reviews. So I'll post that to Amazon and let that earn some money on the side, and that keeps the juices flowing for actually making content. Keeping the skills at editing happening until I jump back to the YouTube channel and actually make something. Sometimes things pop up and I'll jump on the idea because it's topical, it's current. Like I could have jumped on the whole dislike thing because that would have been an easy thing, but I didn't. But you know, you can jump on things that are topical in the news, and sometimes you get inspired enough, or you have enough enough thoughts about a topic that you want to jump in and maybe make that as a video.
Beanie says YouTube removing features certainly generates videos. That is true.
Yeah,
It
those are easy. You almost feel like you're cheating
Really?
when you make videos like this. I've made a couple like
Home
that
run.
about like shorts. I remember when the FTC did the thing where they were going to cripple children's channels, and I did one of the. Those are easy videos because like anything that you have that's going to scare people or get a reaction out of people, or there's something that's trending where people are panicking. Like, those are always going to do well.
I do have to say that this one though is going way longer than they usually do.
Yeah,
It's been a couple of weeks now, and people are still
dislikes.
complaining about it and saying, "Oh well, how am I supposed to know if a video's good?" If you that's what you went by in the first place, sorry, but like you probably weren't watching good videos anyway, like for how-tos and stuff. Because I always looked at the comments in the comment sections and stuff. I was on Reddit the other day. I know, a bad place to be. And somebody was saying, "Oh, yeah, I went all the way through fixing my toilet, and then at the end he said that it didn't work." I'm like, you don't watch the review all the way or the video all the way through to see what you might need to fix the thing you're doing? Like, I was like, I just called him out straight out. I was like, dude, that's your own stupidity. That has nothing to do with the dislike ratio, because that video very well could have had 1,000 likes and 5 dislikes, and you would have still done the same thing.
No, 100%. I find that the dislike discourse, not to have too much of this, but in all seriousness, it's interesting because it's the only platform to have it. And because of that, I find that I wonder if they were like, we're going to have reactions instead, if that would have gone over better, or if people would be even more upset.
Here's my, and I've gone on live streams where I talk about the like button. As a creator, I don't care about the like button. I never look at it. Like, dislike. For tutorials, it does kind of, I won't judge a tutorial on the number of likes or dislikes that it had, but it kind of put me on guard. Like, oh, it's got a lot of dislikes. This might be clickbaiting. I'm just kind of on guard with that. So if I notice that it's starting to go astray, excuse me, I click off, right? But I didn't base everything on that. Where I think things went wrong is from the creator side, people who don't understand how YouTube works. That poo storm where everybody's like, well, how am I going to grow my channel? And now people can't, people think somehow that likes or they contribute to the growth of your channel. And everybody, you guys know that that's absolutely not the case. And I thought, okay, well, we can, maybe YouTube can at least educate people to let them know that the dislike has no bearing on the success of a video. So then what does YouTube do next? They got rid of the YouTube Creator Academy. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity.
They are.
It's gone. It's gone. You have an opportunity.
I didn't know. I mean, I never watched all the way through it. So
they have a new thing now. It's like youtube.com/creators, which is like a stripped down version of the Creator Academy. But it's like you have an opportunity to help educate people.
It's basically a thing on the when you go into your analytics or your back end portion where it's got the little box on the side, right? Where it shows like the what do they call it now?
Yeah, they added something.
You go into your dashboard. There's a little box like news or ideas for you or something like that.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is it has hardly been spoken about. It's very quiet. Like in comparison to say dislikes has been very, very vocal. But there's been comparatively, it's been like crickets. It's like, Nick brought it up on Twitter. That's where I first heard about it. And apart from that and that conversation, there's been very little at all.
Well, that goes to show you the state of people don't even know. So I saw a tweet, and I forget who it was somebody who works at YouTube, and they said, "Oh, we've decommissioned the Creator Academy because it wasn't getting used." And my reply was, "You don't let people know it exists. Of course, it's not getting used."
Yep.
YouTube has that issue where they have, oh, it's not getting used.
Well, and partially it wasn't getting used because most of the information they had was wrong. Because they did it 7 years ago and they never updated it.
They did update it.
Did they? Every time I looked at it, it was pretty much just the same stuff. But then again, I watched you and your brothers, so I was learning everything I needed to know from there, and not that.
We were wrong. We were wrong. I don't know why you're listening to us. They have like one or two. Well, they had one or two of my videos that I never found. They hit me up and they wanted to use two of my videos in the Creator Academy. I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be an honor. It's funny that they shut it down. But I don't know. It's just I love YouTube. It's an amazing opportunity. I'm not complaining about it, but I think their communication skills are in the toilet in terms of just explaining to people the importance of the features that matter versus the things that don't matter. And they take away the thing that people should have more access to, which is the Creator Academy. I just don't understand the choices they make.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that when you have a company that says, well, we're not quite sure how the algorithm works, that doesn't help them out very much either, because they know, they just aren't telling, like you said, that they're horrible about communication.
We're already getting mixed messages on the new player graph where it shows it's supposedly not retention, but it looks like retention. We're already getting mixed messages on that.
So if you hover over video now, it shows like hot spot moments. It's actually been around for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the hub has had it for like 10 years. So YouTube is playing catch up. Yeah. I mean, not that I would know, but I heard somebody told me.
I read that only people who got premium can see that, because I haven't been able to see it. I haven't seen it on any videos I watch. I don't have premium.
I've seen it for a while. I thought it was just on another thing that not a lot of people know about. If you go to youtube.com/new, you can see beta features that are in the works. I thought it was one of those.
No, not everybody has access to it yet. It's one of those things that they're rolling out, but we're already getting mixed messages. Different YouTube engineers are saying different things about it. And it's just like, come on, can you guys like have a huddle or something? Let us know what the feature is. Exactly. Let us know what it is.
Yeah.
So
YouTube has always had this interesting communication strategy where it's called, we sent it in the email of the original account you signed up with. Just check that. And I'm like, that is the worst communication strategy I've ever seen.
I've never gotten anything from them, and I check anything that says YouTube on it.
No, we promise we sent it. Just check your spam.
Yeah.
I think we dog on YouTube so much because we all genuinely want to see it get better. Like, we're not this critical for no reason. It's just like, I think YouTube is one of the best places for a content creator to go. I think that for long-term success of your content, if you want a long shelf life, it's definitely YouTube. There are other platforms there where you can make content, get a quick audience, but I find that a lot of people end up on YouTube just because you're not having to reinvent the wheel so frequently.
Looking at the youtube.com/new, that's where you can turn, Doug, if you go there, youtube.com/new, you can actually turn on the video seeking and see that graph.
Yeah, it's one of the features there. This is also the only reason I know about youtube.com/new is because I happened to get an email saying, hey, if you want to try new features, go here. And I'm like, why is this an email? Why isn't this on my homepage?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, it says that player is only available until January 7th.
Yeah. Because they're experimenting with it. And also, you have to constantly check every day, because sometimes if you don't get the email, you don't know, we've added 10 new features. Good luck.
Yeah. It's always, amazing platform, amazing opportunity.
Well, seeing that picture is only available till January 31st as well.
On iOS.
For people with real phones, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Clearly,
I was gonna say, I know I've had that like almost all year at the very least.
It doesn't work for me.
if I put on my conspiracy brain, Google owns Android. Android would get features first.
Oh.
But they don't.
I know.
But they don't.
So how do you
Except here,
turn
they're
on
like, you know
the,
what? Android's gonna love this
moments thing?
picture in picture.
But they don't. Yeah.
I'd like to
So-
say hi to Neil in the chat,
Hey,
by
Hello,
the way.
Neil.
What's
Oh,
happening?
apparently we didn't.
Hey
I think
there,
we were just
Bergen
doing
Van
a
Life.
conversation. He says, "When did we stop saying hi?" A plus Russian says, "What a crew!" Not Nick Nimmin in the house. But I agree. I think YouTube, when it comes to communication, like even they have user experience research, and I've been in a few of those. But
Yeah.
even then, like their communication on, like they're like, "Yeah, we'll sign you up," and then there's like, it's like, "Hey, are you available at 5 a.m. in 5 minutes?" It's like, what?
Yeah.
YouTube hits you with that late night, "You up?"
You just get like a message. It's like the letter U and then a question mark with like a little smiley emoji. You up? Question
It's how
mark.
it feels. Like,
Oh, hey, YouTube.
pretty much. But I will say they are marginally better from where they were years ago, but
Oh.
it's still slow.
Yeah, look, I don't want to. YouTube has given us all incredible opportunity. It's a
100%.
game changer for everybody. So I don't want to come down too hard on it, but they do need to. It's not like Google doesn't have the money. They need to hire one person or two people, right? So they can bounce it off each other to just like let everything, like have a funnel. Like you've got all the engineers, you have the different teams that come up with the different features, and then all funnels down to like two people who figure out the best way how to communicate it to the creators. That wouldn't be difficult, that wouldn't be difficult at all.
100%. And I also think that, they're trying with like the YouTube like creators channel and just different things. I think that is where, if you want to use those panels in our analytics to like put it in red as big as you can, like that's the place all creators go.
Right. Yeah, I don't watch the creators channel hardly ever. Like if I log into YouTube Studio, like give me a stickied bar at the top that says, "Hey, read about our new features." Make it blink if you have to, right? Yeah, I don't know.
But all right, D, we're gonna send it to you via a telegram into an address we found you used to live at when you were 14. So that's how YouTube is now deciding.
We're gonna send it to you on a trail donkey, and we're gonna send it. We're gonna send it from Arizona down to Mexico on a trail donkey. Let me get it.
And all we've given him to eat was the message, so you got a 50-50 shot.
50 chance. Yeah.
But jokes aside, we do love YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I hate coming down on them for anything.
Yep.
Because it's such a fantastic platform, But it's just like, come on, guys. Like you're Google. They literally mapped the universe at Google, and you can't get an email to me explaining new services to me. Come on.
Oh, but we get the little "What have we done at YouTube this week?" video or little section, something that like nobody probably ever cares about or watches.
Like hire somebody like MKBHD. What is it? MK. I always get it backwards.
MKBHD. You had it perfect.
MKBHD. Like hire someone like that, just like once a month to do like a roundup of all the new features. Somebody who knows how to communicate to creators. Right?
Yeah.
Hire somebody who's actually experienced with communicating to creators, and people go, "Oh, okay, that's a great feature."
Mr. Beast, I'm not giving you the new creator updates, and it's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I watched a couple of their little what's going on at YouTube this week videos, and it's like for people that work at a video company, you'd think that they would know how to set up their lighting and their audio a little bit better. Like if you're gonna have these people do it, why don't they have like a kit that they give to whoever's gonna be making that video that week? Yeah. Like it's absolutely horrible. Like some of the audio and the lighting and stuff is just like, come on, guys. Like
they come at you like, "Hey, this week on YouTube, we're gonna be talking about how to make your videos."
Yep.
But I mean, if we're not gonna, I think that it's weirdly enough, I'm almost like endeared to it because it's like, oh, they actually are trying to start a YouTube.
Yeah. I got to give them that. At least they're trying, but they're not going about it the right way.
they're not going about it the right way because they have people who don't like. They're not like you don't have. Here's the thing: if you don't have skin in the game, if you don't understand YouTube, like if you're not into the YouTube culture, I'm not talking about the Google YouTube culture, but like the actual YouTube culture from the creator side, what they have is clearly Google employees, YouTube employees, just like reading off of a list of new features. Like they need people with skin in the game who's had an up and coming YouTube channel, who understands the platform, who understands the frustrations of the creators and how they can, help these creators navigate these frustrations. I just, anytime I watch one of those videos, I just feel like, okay, well, here's an engineer just going down the checklist.
Yep. And, if we could, speaking of like engineers going down the checklist, why don't we go down our own? What would be a feature we'd like to see in 2022? Comes from Wisco Ted.
Wisco Ted. All right.
I think for me, when it comes to like new YouTube features and like things I'd actually really be in for is like informed reactions and informed comments. I know that timed comments are in beta and they're slowly coming out, but like I'd love to know, when did someone like a video? When in the video did they dislike? Like, let me know that, because if I see at mass, there's like a huge spike in one moment, like it was a really cool shot, or if there's like a huge dislike at one point, that gives me so much more information as a creator than anywhere else. So just more like informed when something happens on my video. Like if I said share this video out with a different way to do it, and I have like more shares than normal, that's useful for me.
Yeah.
I have three things. One, I'm going to agree with Beanie, and I think Neil said the same thing. I would love to be able to @at people on mobile during a live stream. First thing.
Mm-hmm.
So many other platforms have this. I can't even wrap my head around why YouTube doesn't have this. The second thing is I would love to see some sort of an onboarding process for people who are creating new accounts that kind of walk them through like just a couple of steps so they have a better understanding of how the platform works. There shouldn't be jobs, people like everyone who's in the YouTube education space, like we shouldn't exist. That's poor communication on YouTube. The fact that there has to be so many YouTube educators and people still don't understand how to use the platform. So some sort of an onboarding process where it takes people like, take a couple of things from the Creator Academy and like walk them through it. Hey, here's how it works. Here's how you get more views. Do subscribers matter? Here are the metrics to focus on. Like kind of walk them through before they can upload the first video. I think we're never going to see that, but that would be great. And the third thing, I had a third thing. What was it? The third thing, I think they need, and I know this is a tricky one based on the legalities of it. They need a better system in place for false copyright claims and false copyright strikes. As creators, if we get 3 copyright strikes within a 90-day period, we lose our channel. However, someone can file false claim or strike one after another, and literally take channels down as a tactic, and there's no recourse whatsoever. No consequences for them whatsoever. That's a tricky situation, but they need to come up with something like, hey, if you file 3 of these, and if we get 3 and we lose our channel, how about you file 3 false ones and then you lose access to file a claim? I don't know if that's the right answer, but they need to do something.
I agree. I think the whole warning system could be reworked.
Yeah.
Doug or Justin, anything?
I'm looking forward to the live streaming features. They've sort of been teasing us. Live redirects, or what they like to call on Twitch raids. Raids is a cooler word. Redirect is not a real good word. So we know that's coming. So I'm looking forward to that. Especially because if you can raid somebody or send someone to a different channel, on Saturdays when there's a lot of people streaming, like Nick does his thing, and then say D and Daniel doing their live stream, we can just send everybody who's still in the chat straight over to the next stream. That's
you guys
awesome
don't have
feature.
that already? Like, I'm not trying to be like I actually have.
Nope.
You're special. Now I know that it's a testing feature, but they're promised it this coming year. So, and there's other ones around live streaming as well.
There was one more. I would love to see them take shorts out of YouTube and turn it into a standalone app that could go toe to toe with TikTok. Because I think
Yeah.
that by including shorts into the platform, I think it's great in front of getting in front of new viewers. But the way they have it set up,
Yep.
it's really difficult for brand new channels with no authority to get in front of new people. It does happen, but it's not as easy as, say, TikTok, where discovery is 1,000 times easier on that platform than it is on shorts. And I think they've really polluted the platform by sticking those in there. So I'd love to see them do a standalone app. Again, that's not going to happen, but I think that'd be great. TikTok is running circles around YouTube.
Yeah, it's right now it's one of the most. If you look at like the free downloads, it's been killing YouTube comparatively.
Oh yeah, it's always one of the most downloaded apps, if not the most downloaded app. And watch time per viewer is now actually higher than YouTube. Watch time per viewer.
Yeah, because you can scroll through it for 4 hours and not realize that you've watched 400 videos.
Yep, but you know what?
And now with the 3-minute max on TikTok, they're competing more with YouTube than YouTube is with them.
They just added 10 minutes. Some people have access to 10-minute clips now on TikTok. But here's the difference.
That's too long.
TikTok has made such a good, sticky platform that keeps people on it.
Yeah.
Shorts doesn't do that. Like if you roll over to Shorts and you start flipping through Shorts, you swipe off really quickly, because the algorithm that's running Shorts doesn't learn what you're interested in anywhere near as quick as the TikTok algorithm does.
Yep.
There's also legality that I know this is just YouTube has gone through with just like tracking and like information gaining that TikTok has not. And the second that if the government ever hits it again, like they want in the US anyway, it's going to make TikTok worse. And like the thing is like YouTube in a lot of ways was the child that got in trouble so everyone else could do other stuff. And right now, go ahead.
I was going to say TikTok did have a problem a couple of years ago where they were collecting data on minors. So they did get hit with that.
And it's interesting because YouTube, like you said, I think if YouTube made shorts separate, like it pretty much is, especially when it comes to like the short shelf and like how they're handling the actual like distribution of the content. It's just that I think YouTube, instead of doing what YouTube does best better, they're focused too much on trying to make a competitor to something that I think they could live together pretty well. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, the thing with Shorts, is if you look at Shorts on your homepage, it's 90 to 95% viral videos.
Yep.
Right. It's videos with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views that have nothing to do with your interest.
Yeah,
Nothing at all to do with your
understand
interest.
why they can't, because they are in the same thing. All they need to do is take your interests that they're already showing you on YouTube and apply them to the shorts.
But they do. That's the frustrating part.
Do they?
Yeah. So here's the thing. On the homepage, it's 90% popular videos. It's 90% trending shorts. Okay. With nothing to do with your interest. So they're force feeding trending videos there. Right. However, if you click into a video and you look at the shorts underneath that video, you're going to see shorts that are more there. It's going to flip and do 90% tailored to your interest.
Really?
It's a really stupid. Unless
they
they're just
should have
testing
it
that
the
only on
other
me.
way around.
Yeah. Or how about you tailor everything to her? How about it's 95% tailored to our interest, 5% not tailored to our interest? More people are going to use it. I just want to. So I have calls. So I have calls every couple of months with the head of the team who makes the YT Studio app, and they're a part of YouTube Shorts, and they are part of the upload process for the YouTube main app. I have feedback calls with them, and we go over new features, and they pick my brain and stuff, and it's fantastic. And every single time, I'm like, Short sucks. Like you guys have to do something with the algorithm to give people more of what they actually want. I don't know. Deaf ears.
No, I agree with you. Like I have not with that team specifically, but like I'll give feedback and they're like, we want to. And I'm like, then just do it.
Yeah. But that's what makes TikTok so fantastic is yes, TikTok will bombard you with stuff that you're not interested in at first, but the more it learns about you, you curate a For You page, right? You curate a homepage where it is 90% content that you're interested in. And they're really good
That'd get me to watch it a whole lot more.
Yeah, and they're really good at identifying, different, groups of people. This type of viewer likes this type of content. Therefore, you might also like this type of content, and they're right 90% of the time.
100%.
So the algorithm over on TikTok, man, they're on point. But
so
are the algorithms on YouTube for browse, suggested, and search. Those are on point too.
Yeah,
but Shorts is not. Shorts is a miss, huge miss.
You see, I feel like I know YouTube usually builds new things off of old platforms. Why do I feel like YouTube and that Shorts is built off of the old suggested algorithm and not the newer one?
Yeah, right.
Because like I know that when they did live or premieres, that's built on old live streaming, and that's how they built premieres. So I want, and this is again speculation. I do not speak for YouTube, but what isn't speculation? Amazing people joining the stream. So we have Chantel Hills joining live. Maybe not.
There she is. Well, happy holidays to you down under.
Hi, not Nick. How you going? Merry Christmas.
Well, hey, Chantel, how you doing?
I'm good. I feel like I'm very glitchy. Am I really glitchy?
You are.
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
You look like
so
you've knitted your screen together with yarn.
I have.
Which may be the case. I don't know.
I will hold very still and try not to talk with my hands, which is very hard.
Back to Shorts really quick. Something else I want to say about that is YouTube's whole thing with Shorts is to be a TikTok competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had, as Beanie says, they've had over a year to to even like make an effort to be a TikTok. They're not even a competitor to the lowest short form app. They're not even a competitor to Triller or Dubsmash. They're not a competitor to any of those. Yes, they get the views, but in terms of like a community that's building around those, they're not even competitors to the smallest short form app.
Yeah, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball on it. There's still opportunity there. I still think people who are wanting to grow their channel and are struggling to build momentum, I still think they should upload Shorts. But I think YouTube really had an opportunity, and they didn't come through.
I don't think it's as bad as Skype missing the Zoom boat, but I definitely understand what you're talking about.
Well, the only reason Shorts are getting views is because they stuck them on people's homepages.
Yep.
That's it.
Maybe
That's
where
the
they
only
should put
reason
the
Shorts are getting
updates.
views. So anytime you see YouTube boasting about how many views they're getting per month, it's just because they're on the homepage.
Yep.
It's not a good feature.
Yeah. I also think it goes back to like a lot of people are like, I wish I had more money to create. I'm like, do you know about the Shorts Fund? People are like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with Neil in the chat. He says, I wish they would not compete, but make better than what they have. 100%.
Yeah.
Like everybody's running now to short form content, right? Instagram is even in 2022, they're turning more into a video platform because they're saying that video is driving the app. So you've got Facebook and Instagram now, you've got all the short form content, you got short, everybody's competing with TikTok instead of they're trying to copy TikTok instead of saying like, let's match TikTok and then go a step further and make something better than TikTok.
Yeah.
They're just trying to catch up. And
Well, I
failing.
mean, maybe it's MySpace Moments that hits that next big stride of.
Hey, Tom, we did Tom dirty. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, we
did
did.
Tom dirty.
We turned our back on him, and we definitely shouldn't have.
If Tom were to come back in 2022 with a new platform, people would probably flock to it.
There is a copycat out there right now. I got a couple of friends that have gone over to it, and it's a legit copycat. Like you can change your background, add songs, and everything just like you could on the old MySpace.
Yeah, they standalone app, head to head with TikTok, but better, and everybody just knows Tom owns it. Just Tom videos or whatever you want to call it.
There you go.
Yeah, Tom talks, whatever.
I also kind of hate the name of YouTube Shorts. Like I've had this issue with it for a while, and I know it's like super weird, but it's like it doesn't like I get it, it's short form content, but it doesn't really like when I say YouTube Shorts, it feels too long. Like TikTok is quick, Shorts is quicker than YouTube Shorts.
It is.
But aren't people
I don't
shortening TikTok to just clock? Like they don't think
Yeah,
TikTok is
talks.
short enough.
Yeah, they've just been starting to say
Tips,
that.
talks.
Yeah,
Beanie brings up a good
confused
point.
me.
Doug, Andrew, maybe one of you know the answer to this because I do not. How many seconds does it take when viewing a short before they count it as a view? Is it swipe and as soon as you see it is that a view, as soon as it loads an impression, or do you have to watch it for a certain amount of seconds before it counts as a view? 3 seconds on a short?
3 seconds on shorts, but
On shorts,
that was
3
when
seconds.
it first came out. I don't know if that's still the case.
Okay.
But if we're gonna go with that being the case still, then 3 seconds. I know that it's similar to what they. So you know the preview you now get on videos that 3 seconds only counts as about as a impression now. So it might be similar where that'll give you an impression but not a view.
Are you guys seeing the volume controls on that on the previews now?
I am.
So you can watch a video from your home feed now without clicking into the video, full audio and everything. How is that counting towards the metrics? Do you know?
I don't know that one, but I have been wanting to know.
Yeah, I saw that the other day and I was like, "What?"
Seen that on mine.
It's like, "What? What are you guys doing?"
So Infiltration says stop making 2 second shorts anymore. That would be D's Joby review short.
Yeah, I should dig that up when I get back to Thailand and just make that video. The whole thing would be like 10 seconds long. The setup would be longer than the actual.
I see from Neil, he says, I'd like to see them allow image replies in the community feed. It would help when trying to explain things. Well, I don't know that last part, but I think image replies would be super helpful. Even in like YouTube comments. Like I think if the creator only could do like image replies would be useful because I could see that being abused. But in that way, I think it could be really useful for like the community because a lot of times people in a video are like, where do I go? If I could just like make it as big as possible, giant arrows and point, that would stop a lot of similar comments.
Yeah. Twitter's integration with Giphy was just the most brilliant move possible. Like if YouTube could do something like that, where we could reply with, just like you have in Twitter with GIFs and images and stuff like that. Oh my God, that would make answering comments so much fun.
Yeah, there's certain things you can't explain in text. You have to, either you need a lot of time to put it in text to explain it in detail, or you need, something visual because a lot of people are visual learners. Absolutely. I've sent people to, hey, go ask this question in a Facebook group because at least if they explain it, they can drop an image, they can drop a video. Something like that. Like if you've got a video you can point them to on your channel, then that's great, but you might not have that video. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and especially like on the community tab, like that is very valuable because like right now, in order to post a image, it's a new post, and it's like that's not what I want. You have @mentions, you have image posting, just so close, just combine the two.
Yeah, man.
One of the things that I heard someone try to say on one of the YouTube videos is, well, what if they don't have bandwidth? I'm like, if YouTube runs out of bandwidth, we have bigger problems.
Right. They can borrow some from Twitter if they run out.
I see that you said you have to reboot, Chantel, so hopefully that helps with your issue.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
And I know 30 days, if you need to hop, feel free. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I've had enough of D. I got it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. My brother left me. My girlfriend left me. My dog left. Everybody left me here. I'm just Mexico by myself.
Oh, she headed back, huh? She's able to.
No, actually, she's yeah. No, it's the two of us stuck in a room. Well, the funny thing about being stuck is I get questions all the time. They're like, well, I see people traveling. People are going over. It's like, yeah, but we have visa complications that are actually keeping us out of Thailand. It's not as easy as, from the US or Canada, yes, you can hop on a plane and yes, you can go to Costa Rica or you can go to wherever. But our specific situation is our visa situation in Thailand that's making it difficult for us to come back. We technically could go back if we wanted to do like this. They've got this quarantine, kind of like Australia has. Doug might be familiar with this, where you pay to use like a government controlled quarantine. They've turned all these hotels into quarantine facilities. You have to do all this testing when you get there. You have to do a mountain of preparation before you come and all this paperwork before you come. It's fairly difficult to get in. But the problem is, and this is why we haven't gone, and it's like, I don't know. It was 14 days. I think now they reduced it to 7 or 10 or something like that. The problem is everybody. So if you're a foreigner, you have to get tested and everything before you get on the plane to fly in. However, if you're a citizen there, if you're Thai, you don't have to do that. So Thais are getting on the planes sick, spreading it to foreigners on the plane. Foreigners are landing on the ground who tested positive before they got on the plane. I'm sorry, they tested negative before they got on the plane. They're testing positive now at the airport where they take their first test. And then they're being taken away to an actual like government hospital quarantine place. And like the nightmare begins. Because they're getting forced into, instead of staying in like a hotel quarantine thing, you're being sent to like a government hospital, which is a completely different experience. And a lot of the hospitals, I'm seeing people online saying that there's people don't speak English for them, and they're just like making them take medicine. They won't tell them what it is. They're forcing them to take their blood, like holding them down and taking blood from them. Pretty third world situation. So we're avoiding that.
Wow.
Don't blame you there.
Yeah.
So we have 2 questions here I want to go ahead and get answered. So is a short just because you hit the button that says create a short? And if you do a 55-second short, I know you know a little bit more of what qualifies, but I believe it's basically under a minute still, or did they expand past that?
Unless they've changed something, it should be 60 seconds or less, and it needs to be vertical. 60 seconds or less, it needs to be vertical. So to be safe, 59 seconds, it needs to be vertically a vertical video. You technically don't have to put hashtag shorts in your title or your description. That was something that they did early on, and they do still recommend it. However, if you look at the most viral and the most popular shorts, you'll see that almost none of them have that. So they're smart enough to recognize that it's a short. And they're taking old videos from years ago that were uploaded vertically that just happened to be under 60 seconds. And those are now being classified as shorts. So they know what's up.
Yeah.
And then the next one is from Neil, who says he has a question about giveaways. Is there a tool in StreamYard for it?
Yeah, go to StreamYard.com/giveaway. StreamYard.com/giveaway. And the way that works is, hey, Justin, have a good one. The way it works is you'll type in a word for people to, or a hashtag, however you want to do it, for people to type into the chat. And then once they type enough of it in, you can hit it and it'll just randomize things and choose a winner. Then you have to reset it. So I always, go back, and then I got to go forward again and go through the process again. It's really easy to use, though. It's what Daniel and I used during our StreamYard game review extravaganza. That wasn't my question. Hold on. I need help with a giveaway tool. I've had to subscribe to StreamYard for 3 years.
For the giveaway.
TubeBuddy has
it's asking if there's others.
Oh, beyond. Okay, you don't want a StreamYard giveaway tool. You want something like that, but I don't know.
TubeBuddy gives one for free.
Do they? How does that one work?
They just have to comment on the video, but it may not work for streaming as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never looked into it.
I see Chantel is back. Hopefully.
Fingers are crossed. Am I as glitchy?
Not so far.
Audio's in sync. It's looking good.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's amazing what turn it off and on again will do.
That's it.
For sure.
Yeah, you were talking about the TubeBuddy giveaway tool. As far as I've been able to get it to work, I can't get it to work during a live stream. I've always had to go in and use it on comments of videos.
Videos, not so much. But, that's no longer my problem.
It's not your problem.
But hopefully that does help. I do think there should be, I know there's some tools coming out in the future. There are a couple of tool owners that watch these streams. So if that's something you want, Neil, I think it'd be super useful just in general, because I know for myself that a lot of times you just want to even shout out like comments and just like, people who are active and like just always around your channel. Like that could be really fun and helpful to do. So I think that'd be really cool to see.
Hold on. StreamYard is the best, but Nick told me D had a better one. A better giveaway tool? A better giveaway tool. Yeah, you know what? Let me think about that. I've used StreamYard tool for so long, I might just be like forgetting about something. If I think of what that is, I'll send you a message on it.
Maybe it's other spinny wheel thing you use on the review show.
Yeah, that's an app. I need to think about it.
And you have to manually populate that one as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not collecting.
There's this isn't the one Nick was talking about, but there's a website. It's called something like Kahoots. Kahoot. Is anybody familiar with this?
Yeah. My daughter's school uses it for pop quizzes in class.
Is it Kahoot or Kahoots?
It's Kahoots with the S on the end.
Kahoots.
I think.
Yeah. Kahoots. Yeah, that's like a whole gamified research. That's a whole gamified system.
Yeah.
Well, I heard though you can game the system if you send D some underwear. He's really needing that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be that particular length, and otherwise it doesn't even bother returning to sender. He uses it as a lens cloth.
That's right. Well, the funny thing is, sports underwear comes in different lengths, so it's not the standard briefs. They have some that come down like mid-thigh, and they have some that go down to the bottom of your thigh. I like the ones that come down to the bottom of your thigh. They're kind of like
that mid-thigh. What's the point?
Yeah, because you can. They also double as like swim trunks. So you're like, oh, I don't have any swim trunks.
Well, if you watch Bondi Rescue in Australia, swimming in your underwear is never an option.
But these look like swim trunks, though, but they're tight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they look like swim trunks once they're wet, though?
They look like swim. So if you look at the Olympics, I mean, they're wearing like Speedos, but it looks like the same material as like the Speedos, but they're just longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been arrested, and I swim in the public with them. So.
Well, that's how we judge everything, is whether we're arrested or not.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm doing great. Just so you know, if we're judging life on whether we've been arrested, this week has been a good week.
Here's the thing. It's not really judging it based on if you've been arrested. It's judging it based on if you've been caught. Right? Like, because they have to catch you. First, they have to see it. Then they got to catch you. Then they got to arrest you.
See,
you're painting
this terrible mental image, not Nick, of wet undie man running down the beach being chased by police.
Let me tell you something.
See, I hope the company that's been wanting to sponsor me has watched this far into the stream and is still like, this is the stream.
Conversely, if Hanes or Fruit of the Loom is watching this, have your people call my people. But Chantel, I can tell you, you'll never run faster than being in your aerodynamic underwear running from the police. Because that's a mugshot you don't want.
I'll remember that next time.
Yeah. Doug knows.
Thank you for taking the stream 180 degrees. Here we started with YouTube. We end it with comfortable underwear. And that's how we end the stream. If I can, you can too. Thank you all so much for joining me. We're leaving it with the underwear. Chantal, I'm sorry. It's just been, I have to get going. It's been like 2 hours. This is long for me. Good. But next time I'm going to bring you on first. So I'll make sure to go off air and with you when we can make that happen. Doug, thank you for joining me for the full thing. D, it's a pleasure as always. Thank you all so much for watching.
Cheers. Happy holidays.
Have a good time.